Pinell in that direction, it shoots a long way. It puts a really good, strong signal up in the mountains right about where Heaps Peak is.
The only problem with Pinell is the physical orientation of things on the mountain. You're shooting by things instead of out into the valley because of where the buildings are.
Right, and unfortunately, the software doesn't understand buildings and stuff. It just understands rock in 3 arc-second blocks, but it still gives you a good idea what
Right.
the site is capable of. I know we've had some guys running at Harkahala. Here's that's another one that sees a long way. That would be a good one. That's a tough one to get to, I think, but probably a good place for somebody to operate.
Pat and I tried that last year. We set out for there and didn't make it, but I'd like to do it for just the reason that you see right there. It's kind of a little bit like Potosi, but to the south.
Yeah, and based on what I see here, well, you're getting some signal up here. That's Bird Springs Pass. So this is up in the, what is that, the Tehachapi's up there. So if you're getting signal up here, there's a good possibility it's going to be heard and it's going to refract down into the valley here. So I would expect that Harkahala could talk pretty far up north, a lot further than it shows right here, just because that line of propagation out there, that's a pretty good sign that when conditions are right, it's going to keep going.
It would be an awesome site for Arizona rovers, though.
Oh, absolutely, it would.
Yeah. So someday somebody's got a 4-wheel drive and wants to go with me. I'll go up there. Pat can join us too.
Can you show Santa Ynez Peak?
Yeah. Let me. I've got Santa Ynez in there already. Run it.
We could do this all day.
Oh yeah.
Santa Ynez has got kind of a weird coverage
all day. Okay, so here's Santa Ynez, and it looks like it would be good to go shooting up north and into the south, but and I think I could probably vouch for this coverage pattern because I've worked like when Steve QIW goes up to Santa Ynez and some of the other folks, and I'm usually up here someplace and I can work them, but I've got a high performance radio and it's not necessarily an easy contact to make across that span there.
That's why I wanted you to show up. I did not assume that was the pattern, and I know I've worked from Santa Ynez to Fraser. That's not very far, but it's highly obstructed. But it looks like it's pretty instructive.
Well, let's see. Let's zoom in there. So Fraser, if you look there, Fraser has got a pretty good signal up there at the top. So that would be an easy path. Now, the other thing I've found with the software here is if there's another operator out here someplace and he can see Fraser and he can light it up like this, and Santa Ynez lights it up, they can probably both aim at Fraser and work. I've tested that and it seems to work pretty good.
Pat needs to move.
Somebody on Zoom.
It's Pat.
Somebody on Zoom's got an open microphone. Is driving me nuts.
Pat, turn it off. Probably nowhere near it.
Maybe somebody else can mute him.
Yeah, actually, the moderator can.
Yeah. Okay.
You can call him on Cactus and tell him to shut it off. Yeah, he's muted.
He's muted.
Yep. Good. Thanks.
Okay.
So the program's really interesting. That gives me some information about Santa Ynez.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gone to Bryan Head and Blowhard same weekend and had a very disappointing results. And well, the interesting thing is, let's see, which one did I pick here? I got that's Blowhard, which looks like it should work pretty good. Well, it lights up Silver Peak, but
it does not.
There's higher mountains over here. and it's just not getting to the other side very much. So,
My expeditions to Blowhard have been dismal.
yeah,
You know, Loma Prieta in there?
I do not, but I could.
I had some success up there talking to the south from Loma Prieta.
Well, okay, I'll show you guys real quick how I can, how I can add a site.
I've operated a couple of times from Loma Prieta, and it talks down into the LA Basin just fine when conditions are good. The
Yeah,
problem is now is the top of the mountain is locked off.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get in to a spot where you used to get up on the top and have, you know, an unlimited view.
Somebody guide me into it here. I know it's on here, but I don't know where it is.
west of San Jose.
Okay, so San Jose is down west.
You have Crystal Peak.
Yeah.
Is that very close?
Okay. Well, hang on a second. Let me turn off all the other crud. Let's see, where's Crystal? There's Crystal. Oh, there's Loma Prieta. Do we have a particular location that we would operate from? Is it, well,
I don't see what you're looking
you're not, okay, so you're not seeing my Google Earth here.
No,
All right,
the ATN building, which I think.
Correct. We are not seeing that.
oh, okay, that's fine. I got Loma Prieta here. I thought it was sharing the whole screen, but it's just sharing that one application. All right, hang on just a second now. So what I have to do here, and you guys should be seeing this. I'm going to duplicate a site. Doesn't matter, they're all set up the same. Right. I have to drag the Latin long from Google Earth onto this thing. Whoop.
While he's working on that, we looked up the official rules for the 10 gigahertz contest, and we noticed in there, one of the sections said that the SBMS gets a 100,000 point deference at the beginning of the contest. So I'll
Good.
let Courtney explain the operating time.
Is that because we have mountains?
yeah.
So yes, the official rule is 24 hours over the 2 weekends. And this is good news for me because that means I have not violated the rules. What? There's not 24 hours, but that's not what.
24 hours each weekend.
You only did the latitude, not the longitude, or vice versa.
So that doesn't make sense.
They need
No,
dashes.
no, please don't help me. I've got
Okay.
I've got them both.
I see
Thank
it.
you.
I see
I'm
it.
trying to distract so Mel can do this. Oh, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so so maybe I have violated the rule after all. So it's 24 hours per
Okay.
weekend. Okay.
All right. Here's our Loma Prieta coverage. So that looks like that would work pretty good. It's got a good view at Fraser. Let me zoom down here real quick. Nice strong signal at Fraser. So what that means is from the other side of Fraser, that's going to be a good refraction point. So you probably, if you're in that line shooting up there, you would probably be able to make that contact.
With W6HCC at Heaps Peak, it was armchair copy on sideband signals, 30, 40 dB out of the noise. Really, really loud.
Yeah, I believe it.
It talks to San Diego too. It down there at the coast, Soledad, quite nicely.
Every
one of the
every
things
year when I was working from Mount Wilson, all I had to do was point the antenna in the notch in the hills, and there was the signal from Loma Prieta, as long as there was somebody there.
Yeah.
The consistent. The path is just there. Not what to Mount Wilson wasn't very loud, but it was always there. And there's stories behind some of what went on with that, because that was 10 years worth of that.
So we don't hear anybody on from there anymore. I guess that's because of access, but it's a shame because of just what we're sharing right here. It is a great mountain.
The last time I was there, I drove up and there was this big gigantic gate that was locked and I didn't have a key. There was about 20 locks on it. I didn't have a key and I talked to some of the locals and they said that because of vandalism, nobody gets to the top of the mountain anymore.
It's kind of a ridge line there though, isn't it, Dave, that you drive along? If my recollection.
It
wasn't
is,
there-
but
Yeah.
the problem is if you park by the gate, you're probably looking southwest. And if you go around the hill to Crystal Peak, which is just, you go over the top and down the other side a little bit, then you're looking all the other directions. So I spent that year working at Crystal Peak, which was just fine.
Well, how about the path?
Yeah, I think the access to Crystal Peak still works, but I don't hear anybody trying.
It may be locked off now too, because of the day that I was up there, the owner of the property was going around talking to everybody. And when he saw what I was doing, he said, fine, no problem. You stay here, do whatever you want. But he kicked about 6 other people off of the area who were probably ne'er-do-wells. They were probably 2-meter types.
I have some input on Loma Prieta. I've only operated from the summit once, courtesy of Jim Moss, because he had access, but there is a nice pullout that's publicly accessible, and that gets down to Fraser just fine. So it is workable.
Can you mark it on Google Maps or Earth for some of us and we could check it out that way?
Yes, I can research that and document it for you.
Yeah, post it for everybody. Thanks, Oliver.
Okay.
All right. Well, are there any other locations that somebody wants to try?
Somebody posted one in the chat, Mount, what was it? Uminum. That's what I said.
Okay. Well, let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, the other one is Oak Flat Lookout.
All right, hang on. Mount. I don't know how to spell that. Well, that's not gonna get me there. Well, I tried to spell in my version of and it Google or Earth is trying to give me suggestions for aluminum suppliers. So, do we know where it is? I probably have a pin for it in here, and
Not too far away from Loma Prieta.
okay.
Very close.
If you can look in the chat, Mel, I think it's in there. The spelling.
I can't easily on this thing right now.
UMINHUM.
Say again.
UMINHUM.
Okay.
Post a lot along to the chat if you can, somebody.
Oh, I found it. Here we go. Got it.
Mount Lemon talks everywhere.
Okay, so I need to.
Someone asked about lemon.
UMINHUM.
UMUN.
And Mount Lemon is really convenient to everybody in Tucson.
HUM. Yep. UMUNHUM.
Close enough.
There you go.
These fields don't do anything special except just mark them on the map.
I guess every time you do this, you hope that it's going to be the magic mountain.
Yeah, Mount Ummanum used to be a radar site.
Well, good.
Well, have we locked up here? What's going on? Let me try this again.
Okay, while Mel works on that, I'm just recalling 2 years ago this evening, we had this same discussion and it was all Zoom because we were all locked down. And someone put up Google Earth and there was about a dozen of us who stayed up till midnight having this exact discussion. And I would say two things. One is let's start around the room while Mel continues to work on this and he can put up stuff as we discuss it. And so that way we can get out of here before midnight. And
Yeah, this program is a fantastic time waster. And I've found, and I'm really delighted about this, but it's really good at wasting other people's time, not just mine. So.
yeah, but that's great if you get paid for that, right?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
so here, Robert, start.
All right.
No actual activity, but I will be roaming during the competition if health allows me. I will start out in Riverside and I will work my way towards let's see, I was thinking about going up to the high desert. If it's not the high desert, then it'll be San Diego. 3 watts. 3 watts, 4-foot dish. I call KM6 RXN.
Okay, KK6MXP Jim, I'm in Ontario. Last few weekends, got 1 or 2 things down in once or twice. Once at what's in Marietta. Made a signal sideband contact with Pat over, where was he that day? He was off the, he was just east of the state line off of 40. And it worked out to a pretty good thing. We had some pretty good contacts that weekend, mostly digital. And since I am digitally challenged, yeah, analog rules. Yeah. Anyway, and then for the upcoming contest, it looks like I'm only going to be able to work the first weekend. And I'm going to tag along with Dave and Mel. It depends on what days or where. And second weekend, I'll be in it in Atlanta, visiting my grandchild. So that's all I have to say about that.
I have Mount Ummanum up now. For whoever wanted it.
Go ahead. Are we going to keep going or?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just about finished with the rebuild of the Palos Verdes beacon, which is no, hello? There we go. Hello. I've taken the Palos Verdes beacon, which used to be on Palos Verdes, and only had 30 years of aging the crystals, so it's pretty good. I've pulled some of the stuff out of it, and Insect Whiskey Sugar wrote software for a Arduino processor for a new idea, which is really easy to use. So that's all been tested. I've got a few more things to do. So the contest is on the 20th and 21st. I'm planning to go to Fraser and swap out the noisy Fraser beacon for the old PV beacon, which will be quite a bit less noisy because it's the same configuration of frequency west brick that Fraser used to be before it went crazy. So we'll have a new beacon and for the contest on Fraser, and hopefully everybody will be able to operate without getting clobbered on 025 again like we used to. So that's working out good. I'm going to be operating probably from Palos Verdes with 3-foot dish and 10 watts, moving to different locations just for the fun of it. So that's where we sit.
Talk about, you got it.
Well, somebody asked for Mount and here it is. So
Can you flip back to Loma Prieta? Just let's see what the difference is.
sure.
I'm not trying to make it work hard.
It's only slightly different.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any requests, and we'll keep talking?
Yeah. Utah Hill, is it West Mountain Peak or Utah Hill? There's a difference.
Well,
Utah Hill has an unobstructed shot. Arizona
To your microphone.
hang on a second.
Microphone.
Utah Hill is really West Mountain Peak, and been there once, has an unobstructed shot to Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California. It's like 7,000 feet and it's downhill towards all of us.
Yeah, I think I have it here. Yeah, this what I have up there is it says 7,690 feet.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And
I
you-
believe I got that location from you.
that's a very four-wheel drive road.
It's a horrible road. Everything
Yeah.
is great. The last eighth of a mile is straight up.
Yeah, but that would work pretty good into Southern California, I would think, because you've got coverage off of some of the mountain peaks here.
Yeah.
Let me zero. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. So Onyx, and that's going to be San Gorgonio right there. So you're lighting up San Gorgonio pretty strong, and that's gonna be a good bounce for
Temecula.
absolutely. So that's Utah Hill.
All right, any other requests? This is the all
yeah.
request map line.
Yeah, I left some on the chat. And my concept with that is not everybody is willing to go on these high peaks or drive a lot of distance, but it would help, in my opinion, if we could get some of the people who are not that active to do things at lower elevations where there's still road access. I'm thinking particularly of like the Cacho Peak State Park. The northwest end of that has got a complete view of the whole western half of the planet. It's not up very high, but that's one place. And of course, this is all southern Arizona. We all feel like orphans out here pretty much.
We have a printed form of anecdotal comments about each of the sites we've used over the years. It gives the grid square and then some remarks about it and where to go. And that's a pretty lengthy list. We have it in the archives someplace, but that's kind of a pre-internet locator for stuff. And I think it includes some of the Arizona stuff. But
that'd be great.
We should make sure we have that available for the contest as usual.
We need to build and start and build or grow to add to the Arizona list that's already existed, because there's lots of places out here that I don't think are mapped.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that, Doug, that list is on the old website. I printed it out and used it one year. It's about 3 pages of stuff. And some of them are coastal sites in California that are useful for working down in Mexico when somebody is there. Those are not very good sites if someone is not in Mexico. But a lot of the rest of them, I would not have known about them had it not been for that list. So that is there. And if someone reminds me, I can send you the specific link to that. And I agree with Frank that that should be updated and maintained. You know, when people go out this year, especially if they go to some place that's new, they should say something about it. Say, you know, never go here again, or here's who to go, here's where to go, here's who to talk to, and here's the kind of car you need and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Can you show Mount Laguna at some time, Mel?
Yeah, let me, you guys keep talking and I'll set it up here for you.
I was wondering about that too. Good.
All right, W6DL here.
And Signal Peak, please.
Okay.
Excellent. Those are good choices. W6DL here. I'm going to take my time to just kind of close the Hawaii thing. And there was a lot of mobilization. A lot of people put in a lot of time and effort into that project. Obviously, Rex and missing somebody here. W3SZ. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows how much we appreciate the work that went into that. And I know how disappointing it might have been to put that much effort into it and, you know, not get a whole lot of success out of it. But I just want everybody to know we appreciate your effort. I will be on in the contest from somewhere where I should be able to work a lot of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, on around the room, Jason, you plan to do anything? Oh.
W6 BBQ. I'd initially thought of tagging along to the Pleasant Peak crowd, but they have a way of making you stay up there with them a long time. You can't escape. So I may Neil, his ability to work Pat from a parking lot very close to my house made me think that maybe I want to do some very, very limited roving instead. Work the people up on the nearby hills from around home, and then maybe go up to like Oak Hill or something. More to the east and get multiple grids. I don't think I can commit to another 9-hour day on the first Saturday. That's factoring in my plans.
And while we're, yeah, so before I forget it for the 5th time, Mel keeps a list that he puts out, and you should contact with him with your plans. You should not assume that anybody is writing down anything right now. You should email him with your plans. This is where you're going to go, what days, what bands you have, and all that. And he puts that out, and then that becomes that is how I know where Jason is and whether I can expect to work him today, or, you know, if it's from 2 to 4 p.m., if I need to emphasize that. So that's a very important thing that comes out. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, everybody. It's Steve, WA60XM. Really no solid contest plans. Probably a spectator, but I do have an old Down East microwave transfer system that I've been kind of tinkering with, so maybe I can get that up and running by contest time. Yeah. And so, yeah, maybe drag a loaner up and fiddle around with that. As far as some microwave activity for the month of July, ham radio wise, we did drag a 4-foot dish off of Box Springs over to Pleasant's Peak for 10 gigahertz and get it mounted up for a repeater system link back to Johnstone. So, but which is kind of neat to play with. We got to play with a Field Fox test instrument. So that was kind of neat to see some of the latest test equipment technology that's out there.
Yes, and don't forget the pendulum path boxes.
Oh yeah, almost. I think the Johnstone end. Somebody's got to work that. Are you going to be up there this weekend, Mel?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make an effort to if nothing else, retrieve the box that's up there. But if we can time it right, maybe I can get up there while you guys are there and swing that dish.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm just an observer, so I'm going to pass here.
Could you run Saddle Peak too, please, Mel?
Yes.
Dave is a CGR, still have some problems. But I worked Pat yesterday from home. And he was at home. So so that was good. And I had a whole bunch of books here for folks in the meeting room here. The free books, huge data books, microwave and so forth. So free.
All right, well, I've got a microphone here. Mel, WA6JBD. My plans are kind of fluid right now, but first weekend, I'll probably good likelihood on one day on Pleasant's Peak, and the other day would be a couple of stops in the high desert. One of the things that I want to do is make a concerted effort to try and work the guys that are coming up from Arizona and give them somebody to talk to. So that's going to be one of my focal points during the first weekend. Second weekend is open. I'm open to a trip to Potosi, but I've mentioned this before. I will not go there by myself ever again. So I'm looking for somebody else with a fully capable four-wheel drive who knows how to use it and is willing to make the drive up there. And barring that, I'll develop some other plan. But if anybody's interested in a Potosi trip, talk to me on email or my phone, whatever, and we'll figure something out. That would be for September.
Everybody should go to Potosi once in their life.
By helicopter.
Do they have to come back too?
There's a whole lot less paperwork to handle if they come back.
Okay, it's Courtney N5BF, and I already talked about home to home. So Pat and I went on a day trip a couple of weeks ago up to Fraser and worked Frank, CWN, over on Greens Peak in eastern Arizona, which for me was a record 868 kilometer contact. We did it on JT65. There might have been enough there for CW. We didn't attempt that, but then we got in one AV in Phoenix on the air from his home, and we worked him, which was 700 and something kilometers. So for my plan, we're going to try to replicate that contact. And like Mel, I want to be on Fraser for, Mel's not going to Fraser, but he wants to support the Arizona operations. I want to be on Fraser to support the Arizona operations and to redo that contact for contest credit. And then the other day in August, I'm planning to be out in the desert, DMO5-ish area. Mel gave me a list of sites to operate from. I went out last year not realizing how big the desert was, and I wanted to try some other ones, but I needed to have a plan where I didn't spend 4 hours driving between each one. So I'm going to come up with another plan. And Robert, you and I might get together and do that. That's kind of what you were talking about. So let's talk. Yeah. Yeah. So Miles, so this even comes to mind because Frank says, oh, now you're a member of the 500-mile club. So 868 kilometers is 540 miles or something like that. And 740 is something like 450, lots of miles. Yeah. So that's pretty good on 10 gigahertz. So Dave, go around and pick up the plans from Zoom.
All righty, very good. Let's see here. Doug,
Oh,
you're up.
okay, Doug, K6JEY. Lately, I've been copying Chip's digital beacon and getting more of an expert feel for it. I think that's been important. Hope we can do that during the contest. I'm going to upgrade my IF radio to an ICOM 705. And if you have experience with that, let me know. I have for sale a complete DB6NT 10G3 transverter, 2-meter output, and an antenna, and you're on the air, $500. And I have a 10-watt Hughes TWT amplifier. It's the new one with the dark gray panel. Both days probably be on Signal Hill with Helen, 3-foot dish and either 4 or 10 watts. And also, if you get struck by Murphy or need some help, JEY Labs is open. Just give me a call. I'll be glad to help you out.
There you go. What a great offer. Thank you. Frank, WB6CWN, you're on.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Oh, Q5.5.
All right, thank you. So I plan to be, I see we have a map Mel is showing right now. So I'm going to be in eastern Arizona, which is just off the right edge of that map, east of Ord. As Courtney and Pat may have mentioned, we've been playing around with 10 gigahertz out here, and it travels well across the desert. And
That's an Ord right there.
Pardon me?
I said, this is Ord.
Yeah,
right
so there you go. And, you know, I'll be to the east and another few thousand feet higher looking over the top of Ord.
Now, if you want to keep those, you can do a screen capture on your computer and save it as a JPEG when Mel puts these up.
It gets better if you really want. I can turn it into a KMZ file, and it's a transparency on Google Earth.
Cool. Well, it's too bad you can't do Ord. Maybe we can, is it everything that you can see on this map? Maybe I can find a spot that's close nearby. Because you're close. In any event, I'll be up there, and as you see, it's for anybody who's on Fraser, and I believe that there's some other spots to go to. It's got a view, and as long as you're willing to work at it, I'll work at it. And then there'll be rovers in between. I think that's going to be interesting this time, and look to work them as well, as many as can get out. There is a possibility that I'll have one more station with me. There's a fellow's got a repeater site up there who's real interested in 10 gigs. And so I'm going to invite him up to use my extra radio alongside of me and give him a chance of what that's about. So that'll be another person for rovers, you know, to work 2 times the points. So looking forward to it. That's for August. I don't have plans yet for September, and we'll see what that's about then. So, I'm going to have 24 gigs with me. I'm setting up the 10 gig radio to do dual band 10 and 24 on the 3-foot dish. And what I'm hoping is I can attract 1 or 2 of you that have capable 24 gig stations to get out and give it a try as well. I know he's not here, but I heard that Tony Long's got a 24 gig radio now down in San Diego. And I know that Doug, you do, and I know Steve has one. Is QIW on this call?
No,
I don't see him.
Okay. I'm hoping he goes up to Fraser and brings his.
Frank, give him a phone call or an email, because if he knows there's interest on 24, he'll take it. Otherwise, he may not.
I will. I know him. He's a diehard and does that, so there's a good chance. So I look forward to that as well. So that's my interest. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Lars tends to bring 24 with him as well, and he's usually up on Fraser.
All right. Well, I'm going to make an announcement. I think it's time anyway, because I'm pretty much set, and I'll talk about 24 plans on the reflector and see what I can raise. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Frank. Oliver, KB6BA, the Northern California representative tonight.
Hello, Dave. It's Oliver, KB6BA. Present plan is to operate at Fraser for just Saturday only. I have 10 and 24, 3-foot dish, 3 watts on 24 and 10 watts on 10. Other activity, our 50 megahertz up group had our antenna tune-up measurement clinic Saturday at local park, and it went very well. And it's the first time I got a chance to try my upgraded portable 10 gigahertz radio, which I built last year. I had recently upgraded from the 12-inch patch antenna to my old RCA 18-inch dish, which is functional, but there's some more optimization for that. So that's what I've been up to, and that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Stephen Bell, KI7OG. You're on.
Yeah, I'm from Tucson. Haven't been on the air for a long time. My 10 gig setup is still sick in transmit, receives fine. I've got parts coming. They should be here a few days before the August weekend. Certainly September, I should be fully running. And I should have several watts at least on the 18-inch dish with a good waveguide switch and low loss for that. I may end up doing some roving, and that's why I mentioned Picacho Peak State Park. It's great view to the north, northwest, and sort of to the east. But otherwise, there's always Mount Lemmon, and we also have, may not work, but it's called Mount Bigelow. That's also where all our local TV stations live. And I'm not sure it will have much access to the west, but it's up high also. So anyway, there are plans. I've got 4 or 5 other guys locally who I've been lobbying, and at least a couple of them say that, yeah, they're going to make it for the August weekend. So I'll keep working on them. And Pat N7RMJ says I better make sure whoever I can get access Cactus, not just Slack or something else. But not everybody will do that. And I'll do what I can. Maybe I could be a relay guy for coordination. So that's it. Hope to see everybody on the air someday.
All right, and I apologize. KJ7OG. Getting old, need better glasses. Brian, AF6NA. What are you going to do in the contest?
Okay, is my audio okay?
Yes, you're Q5.
Okay, good. So I'm going to be teaming up with Neil, N6VHF, and we're going to be bringing in a new guy, NDAF Buckley, N6UTC, from, we met him over there at Huntington Beach on field day. And so we're going to be operating from Signal Peak in Newport Beach and Signal Hill in Long Beach area. So that's our plan. Sunday, everybody's going to kind of choose their own spot. So that's what we've got going.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. Alicia, you're up.
Okay, WB6DNX here. Probably not too much activity on the contest day, but I'll be listening to Cactus. Well, go ahead, over.
All right, very good. We'll make a comment on there once in a while. Keep us straight then. Thank you very much, and I hope you're doing better.
Roger that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be working your radio, Dick, if we're not working you.
Okay, that'll be fine. Keep it running.
All right.
Bill, November 6th, November, Mike. We'll get back to Bill here in a second. Just pop in if you want. Brian, W6BY. You were on my screen, then you weren't, and then you were again. So we have more than one representative from Northern California tonight.
Yeah, well, Brian, W6BY. My plans are kind of fluid at this point. I would like to, if I go to a mountaintop, it'll be either Fraser if I go to Fraser, it's going to be for the whole weekend. I got a contest capable 10 and 24 dual band rig. Made the contact from the Highway 5 lookout all the way up down to Fraser, and many more. Otherwise, possibly Mount Vaca, possibly Mount Diablo if I get lazy. And the other thing I can do is row. So my plans are very fluid right now. I'm just looking to see what other people are going to do, and I'll make a decision. Probably going to spend at least one entire weekend down on Fraser. So, and by the way, I did mention in the chat that I think Pat, RMJ, myself, and KK6MK did a KML file for Google Earth some years back. So I think we shared that.
All right, very good. Duly noted. Let's see who's next. I saw Bill WL on here. Are you still here? Or did you go away?
I'm still here. No microwave activity and no plans for the first weekend.
All right, thank you very much. We would like to get you in the log this year, so do what you can. Michelle, I missed you here at the meeting. W5. My screen, the things are rolling on my screen so fast. Michelle, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah. No plans for the contest except to cheer everybody on and support them. Plenty of technical progress of all types, and I will send that into the newsletter. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Gordo, WB6NOA.
WB6NOA will be Signal Peak with probably Brian. I'll be on one side, he'll be on the other on Saturday, possibly Maritime Mobile on Sunday. Over.
Excellent. We always enjoy the Maritime Mobile. So appreciate that.
And if you want to pop up Signal Peak coverage for Gordo, here it is.
You'll have to fix.
Terrific. I think I'll go Maritime.
Gordo, I think it was only you and Chuck are the ones that have been serious out on the seas with your radios.
All right, N6RMJ, Pat, you're up.
Okay, well, right as of this moment, I'm going to be starting in the Phoenix area and headed west towards Yuma. Whether I take the 10 corridor or the 8 corridor, I'm not sure. And then we'll make a loop and come back towards Phoenix doing the other way. That'll be our basic Saturday. I'm not sure. I'm going to be running with at least one person, possibly 3. So we'll have Cactus, analog primary, and digital as needed. It's just another tool in the box to use for those hard to work. So I'm not primarily digital. I'm primarily analog with digital as another tool in the box like CW, which I don't do. But that's my plans for this coming, the first half of the contest. I don't know about the second as of right now. But the stations I'm running are going to run with me all have digital, so those long haul, those who want to try it, will be able to do digital for those long haul contacts. And we'll be on Cactus. Back to you.
Go ahead. Somebody was going to say something.
Could we see Signal Hill if you've got it on your database there?
Yeah, it's up now. That is Signal Peak. You want to see Signal Hill in Long Beach?
That's the one.
Okay, well, let me run it. I'll get back to you.
All right. Make sure everybody got to see what they wanted on Signal Peak.
Show us some of the beacon sites as well, like PV.
Okay, well, hang on just a second here.
Just put it on the list.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got PV on here. Somebody had asked for Laguna. I've got that on there now. Signal Peak. I thought there was another one in there.
The PV plot will not represent the coverage of the beacon. The physical location of the beacon is seriously shadowed in some directions.
Yeah. And by the way, this Signal Peak coverage, we know it works a lot better than this, primarily because it puts a really strong signal on Fraser. And if you can do that, you can work everything that Fraser sees.
Signal Peak is one of the outstanding sites in Southern California.
All right. Very
Only
good.
thing wrong with it is trees.
Yeah, there's one site and you need a big dish.
All right. I'm going to continue on here. N9RIN, how are you doing tonight?
Good evening, everyone. Chris and N9RIN. No microwave activity and no plans for the contest. Not able to participate again.
All right. Well, thank you for checking in. Appreciate that. Paul, KB5MU, you got anything for us tonight?
Howdy. My plan for the 10 gigahertz contest is the same as my plan has been for the last 20 years or so, which is to think about it and enjoy the idea and then not go anywhere. So no activity to report either.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm just going down the list. By the way, W6BY posted something that is very valid for the world that we live in today. And that is, if you're going to be out roving in the middle of nowhere, it's probably a good idea. And we mentioned it earlier this evening that you have somebody with you, just, to watch over each other, make sure nobody gets overheated, no health issues, and to make sure that there's somebody to guard the equipment if something happens to one of the operators. So just want to reiterate that. So thank you. Paul, N6LL, how are you doing? I think we had this problem before, and on my screen, I can't see. Are you using sign language tonight? No, I got no video. Paul, we'll get back to you. Ryan, W6SZ, how are you doing?
Good evening, everybody. W6SZ, Ryan. My radio is still not working, so that makes it easy. Good success, everybody, in the contest. Over.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for checking in with us tonight. I really appreciate it. Bob, WA6ISG, you have anything you want to add tonight? All right, I guess not. Robin, WA6CDR, last but not least.
Well, I always am somewhere. There was a couple of amusing things in the goings on in recent times. Trying to get that path with the 2 4-foot dishes aligned between Pleasance and Johnstone. We kept fighting with it and not really having quite enough performance in the blue boxes to get it started. And we ended up using a much stronger signal. It's called the Fraser beacon. We aligned the dish using the Field Fox on the Fraser beacon and got it peaked up and found out that it was actually making enough signal where we could believe that the path alignment boxes would see each other, and then they finally did. We were able to see the signal from Johnstone. It's not, Johnstone end isn't aligned yet, but it's at least trying. But we had to use the Fraser beacon as the starting point to get it all to happen. That was rather amusing. I dial up there with the Field Fox, and there it was. In any case, I will be doing POTUSy analog only on the first weekend, and I may do something different, but it's more likely I'll do something mundane, like just go sit on Signal Peak on Sunday, on the second weekend. That's not determined. But the intent to do Potosi is determined. If the creek rises, well, the creek rises, and there's nothing much I can do about that. And right now, I need a number 16 tap drill.
What's your best distance from Potosi up there?
N6CA, airplane bounce, and way the bleeping bleep, Northern California. Chip, where were you? I can't remember.
Feet, Shasta, 7,000 feet, 515 miles to High Potosi.
Yep, that sounds right.
515, okay. I'm curious
And
what our distance will be. We should have a good path too, Robin.
oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of trees between Greens and Potosi. And one of the problems I have at Potosi, and I'll try to set up a little differently this year to take into account that there's really people to talk to the east, is the best place to set up for all of the western and southwestern paths. When you swing around to look back toward Arizona, you're looking through buildings, and that's not good. I'll try to be as far north with the dish as I can, but that's typically where I set up anyway. And so I don't have a lot of variation. If I move farther physically east on the site to clear a little bit better to the southeast, then I immediately get about 6 buildings and a hunk of rock in the way to San Diego.
Yeah.
And so that's a problem. I have I've worked, and it's easier now with the G5 rig. I can actually move the truck if I need to, but I've talked to people in Arizona quartering through the back of the truck, but it's still through buildings, and that's not good for a marginal path or for anybody. If there's extra signal, it'll work just fine.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a problem, and I don't have an immediate answer for it, because the physical move necessary to get a clear east view is 60, 70 feet. And that's doable, except that not with my rig. My dish and tripod assembly weighs right on 100 pounds, 125 pounds, somewhere right in that range. And I can't move it. I cannot move it assembled by myself, other than dragging it, lifting and dragging a foot, and then lift and drag a foot, and so on. That's so I can move inches, and I do that when I'm doing my setup. But it's and if I'm not careful, I'll snap the legs on the tripod. The tripod's overloaded with all that junk in a 6-foot dish, and to keep it in balance, I have to put 15 pounds on the back end of the platform that holds all the stuff. That's 15 pounds, 24 inches back of the dish to get it anywhere close to balanced. So moving is simply not practical.
Yeah, don't do that. I think we all have a vision of you dragging your dish, like we've all tried that once, and that's a setup for flanging it. So don't do that.
Yeah, and if I break the tripod, it's done. There's nothing. Yeah, I can't stand there and hold the dish with the lip of the dish on the ground and point it at anything. It's too danged heavy, and so it's a forklift radio.
That's a good way to put it.
What is the path?
Okay. You mentioned the longest path from Potosi. I worked that path too. It's to Shasta, and what we're looking at right now is actually the path profile from Mount Shasta on on the left and Potosi on the right. And you can see why it works. It's almost just a single point that it refracts off of.
Yeah, it did, but that was pretty much airplane bounce. There was some signal in the background, but it was pretty much airplane bounce.
There's the signal in the background, and then the airplane bounce enhances it to make it actually workable. But that is the path.
We were not going to high Potosi when the guys were going to deep Mexico, but the paths up and down the coast of deep Mexico, of course, are a different story, and there's lots of 500-mile stuff in there. But that doesn't happen anymore because there's nobody with enough connections in the cartels to be willing to drive into Mexico.
All right. Thank you very much, Robin. Do you have anything else?
Not unless you can tell me where my number 16 tap drill is.
I cannot. All right. Did I miss anybody?
N6MN is here.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi. I think I was switched off when you called me. So I've spent the last 6 years in the Pacific Northwest living in a forest. So in order to get on 10 gigahertz, I'd have to go a mile away to an open space and point at Mount Baker. Marvelous reflector. And Frank Croman is really keeping the microwave flame burning up in the Seattle area. He's opened his workshop to all the local microwave guys, and they're getting together once a month to build things. So that's an interesting situation. So the wife decided that she'd had enough of the weather up there and wanted to be close to the grandkids. So this time I decided I wanted a house with a good microwave location. So we're now at 1,000 feet with a view to the east from Palos Verdes, a nice balcony there. I haven't decided how to deal with the antenna restrictions, but I'll figure that out and set it up and take it down. That should be easy. And I have uncovered in the mass of unpacking my radio with the 4-foot dish, 2-foot dish, and about a watt. And I should have it on the air for the contest. And I'm looking for all sorts of opportunities. I'm extremely optimistic about this location. So looking forward to it. That's all I have.
All right, very good. Oliver, can you come up and say what you wanted again? I didn't read it fast enough. By the way, thank you very much. And you got a lot of people who are going to be able to work you from the east side of PV. So you'll have a lot of takers. Oliver, what was your request?
Yes, we have a couple of folks that are going to try Mount St. John in Northern California and found it on Google Earth, and wonder if Mill could add that to his list, please.
Okay.
And I have the coordinates in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to need the coordinates and the ground elevation.
Okay, let me get it back just a second.
And Robin, we'll be 350 miles apart, but there's nothing between us. So maybe off a building, we might have a chance.
There they are, Mel, if you can grab them. Then it goes away.
No, I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, see, Oliver, it comes up and then it goes away. It doesn't stay put.
Okay, well, first of all, what's the site name?
Mount St. John.
Mount John, okay. If somebody could read off the lat long.
It's 38 degrees north, 26 minutes, 16.67 seconds. 122 degrees west, 127 minutes, 37.95 seconds.
You have to watch out up there, Oliver. It's where you get warts and not
Okay.
St. John.
Do you have a elevation?
Says 2361 feet, according to Google Earth.
Okay.
All right, while he's processing that, anybody else that I missed tonight? All right, very good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting back over to our esteemed
Sorry, I
president.
think Bob WA6ISG didn't report in, or Paul N6LL. Just wanted to give them a chance to report in.
I ran both of their names, but neither of them unmuted. So
okay.
Thank you very much for pointing that out, though.
Sure thing.
All right, I'm going to turn the meeting back over to our esteemed president.
Okay, well,
and here is Mount St. John coverage.
Ah. And I see a little ray towards Fraser. I bet it would work Fraser also if you gave it a shot. Yes, okay, so let me say a couple of words about digital. Well, first, it sounds like we have a lot of activity this year, a lot of old timers, and some have returned from the past, and some newcomers. And so there's, you know, one of the metrics that I keep in my own log, you get 100 points for each unique call sign, and I've had as high as around 60 in operating in this region when I was really doing a full bore, but it's been as low as in the mid 40s recently. And so I'm looking forward to catching all of you on the air and being up in the 60s again, perhaps. So that would be great. A couple of words about digital. My main approach in the contest will be the same as it has been. If it's easy on sideband, we just work and move on. If it's easy on CW, we just work and move on. If it's tough on CW, we work it until we make it, or until we give up a long time later. And that also, several of us now are set up with rigs that will do digital pretty straightforward. When I do my setup, it's just ready to go. And I'll be watching the WSJT waterfall, is including the plus the rig waterfall, just to help me line up on people. And so if you want to try digital, we're all, Pat would tell you, we're all on, I want to say 30 Bravo. If that's not right, he'll correct me, but Q65 30 Bravo, everybody's going to do that. The standard frequency for digital will be 150, unless you arrange otherwise on liaison. And if it looks like, you know, if you're going to work somebody like Pat who doesn't do CW, but it's going to be really tough, that would be the way to do it. And it'll be fairly straightforward, and it'll be pretty easy, and it'll be just about as much of a stand down for the others in your group as it would be if they were on a tough CW contact, or maybe even less. So it will be interesting to see what kind of performance modifications we get. You know, if we get some longer ranges or we get more contacts we couldn't have gotten otherwise. It'll be interesting to see in the results this year what effect that has on the several of us who can do that. Again, let me remind you to make sure and get on Mel's list of who's operating when and where, so we'll all know how to coordinate. And also, I want to make sure that everyone listening, and even those who aren't, feels welcome to participate in some fashion. Even if it's just come watch other people for some period of time. You know, the guys who go up to Signal Hill, for instance, they're way out in public there. You'll always get an interview with the police officer. And anybody, you know, if you know somebody's going to be up there and you would like to see what this looks like, and you don't know from other experience, then going up there with them, announced or unannounced, would be perfectly welcome. And the society has a loaner. Talk to Robert, KM6RXN here, about borrowing that if you would like to get on. if you're going to use the loaner, this probably means you need some mentoring. And so you should get with one of us. And, you know, my first year out, AF6 NA took me out, and I knew how to contest in amateur radio, but I did not know how to triple park on the beach and set up for 40-minute outing without drawing any attention. And so that kind of mentoring was very helpful to me. And then when I went out on my own, I had some idea of what I was supposed to think I was doing.
Courtney?
Yes,
we'll,
go ahead.
We'll be glad to have people up on Signal Hill with us. Let me know if you're interested, and we'll let you. Can't actually make any contacts with my radio, but you can get a feel for how it works and maybe do a little logging and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, so anyone at all could come do that, and that would be an entry point into this kind of activity, which obviously is very interesting and exciting to all of us here. And so you're missing out if you're not aware of what's going on here. Let me see. I think that's it. Does anyone have any other business they'd like to bring up? Otherwise, we'll close and we'll let people pester Mel about other sites as long as he's willing to be pestered.
I got one more comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
Never say never until you've tried it at least 10 times.
Yeah.
The day is not, what you're trying to work right this moment doesn't mean it's not going to change in 20 minutes or an hour from now. Early morning, really good propagation. Late at night, good propagation. Daytime, there's rain scatter, there's airplane scatter, there's so many different enhancements that happen. Give it a try. Don't just try the first 1 or 2 minutes, say, I don't hear anything, I'm moving on. That's all.
Yeah, and we've all had several contacts or witnessed several contacts where, you know, they were completed through maybe airplane scatter or some other thing that was pretty intermittent. And, you know, you really need to only get 3 transmissions completed across in each direction. So you need that supported. And once that's happened, then you're done and you can move on. And like I said, that can take anywhere from 10 seconds to half an hour or even more, depending on what's going on. But yeah, certainly. And, you know, as things calm down and people have worked out the band, then they try these tougher ones later at night, for example. And if they take a long time, then that's fine because there's not much going on anyway. And then you make a 500-mile contact. So so that's good for everybody's score. 2 people make 500 points or 800 points when you do that. Okay, anything else before we close?
Yeah, Courtney, AF6NA here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a question about coordination. One of the things that I've noticed, and others have actually brought it up to me as well in the last few months, is that digital contacts take a heck of a lot more coordination than the upper sideband contacts do. And I mean, I've you know, asked about the coordination this year and how it's gonna work, because if there's guys out there who are gonna be coordinating digital contacts and spending as much time as, like, you know, I mean, I've seen it take 45 minutes just for a single contact, maybe more. It's going to get pretty nasty out there on Cactus. So is there going to be any alternative coordination if somebody can't do an analog? Are you guys going to use a different way of coordinating and spending the time that you need to make your digital contact?
I think one of the things that we have not, so when we do our digital stuff, quite often those are running in the background and we're just having a chat and excited about when there's things going on and trying different modes. But in a contest situation, it's completely the opposite. And you take advantage of the fact that you can just turn it on and be quiet. So you really only need to turn on. And after you make the contact, there's probably no need to shout back and forth after you get every single ping. That's one of the things we can work on, and also work on it on off hours so that we're not clobbering each other. But it doesn't require us to talk all the time. And I think that's something to keep in mind when we make our digital contacts.
Yeah, let me further emphasize that point. There's been a lot of experimentation going on, and nobody's going to be experimenting in the contest. If they are going to be experimenting with digital, they will probably take it offline, either to a cell phone or some other communication method. However, I want to remind everybody, because this happens every year, there's 2 or 3 people who disappear and go off and do their own liaison somewhere. And then the rest of the people who are rovers can't find them. And then it slows down the rovers. So everybody should stay on the primary liaison if somebody's doing a digital contact, or if somebody's doing an analog contact that's requiring a lot of headroom, maybe you can take it offline. But in either case, under routine working conditions where you guys can hear each other, just stay on Cactus and do it as we've done it in the past.
And just remember, don't transmit more than about 10 seconds at a time, because it's not necessary. And do your level best to be duplex. Not everybody can be duplex everywhere, but be duplex. And that will make life a little bit easier. If you can notice whether or not other people are transmitting by being duplex, you can get words in between. But long discussions and experiments just simply don't fit during the contest interval.
Amen. I think the digital stuff, I think we can do it and take up actually less space for all the time that we're transmitting and receiving. There is no reason to talk. That'll be an interesting challenge.
That will be quite a challenge, because there's an awful lot of talking that goes on associated with making digital contacts. So it's if it really is that big a problem, if you're into experimentation mode, if you can, take it off to the cell phone and talk to the other guy and experiment with it that way. But which is not ideal, but you gotta make room for the rest of the traffic load.
Yeah, no, completely understand. I don't think we'd be experimenting.
One final comment. Digital mode can hear at least 20 dB weaker or more than you can hear on CW or sideband. So the digital contacts can be made where you cannot work in any other mode. So remember that.
And occasionally what I'll do maritime is simply say maritime mobile Catalina listening, and I'll give the frequency and get off.
You're never the problem.
Now it's the discussion of it that's the issue. It's not at all a matter of how much time it actually takes to convey the information. It's how much time it takes to talk about the information.
Yeah.
So
that's a real important point that I'm mindful of, and I will be in this contest, that's for sure, because I'm running digital and I will do it, but I want to do it in a way that coexists.
right now, and also now that we're including stations in central and eastern Arizona, pickup time will become a factor, because there's not going to be enough traffic for the radios to be on for long periods of time. Naturally, the links will have dropped off westbound, and it's going to take key up. The simple rule of thumb, the easy rule of thumb that can be followed, is when you go to make a transmission, key up, let go, and listen for the telemetry. I don't care if you understand the telemetry, just listen to it. Then key up and say what you have to say, because by that time it'll have picked up all the links.
Okay.
Yeah, and also duplex. I can just hold the key down and wait until it's my turn to talk.
That's right. If you duplex, you just key the transmitter, and then when it's your turn to talk, you just talk. But we're going to have to take into account pickup time, because the there's not enough traffic from Arizona to keep the long carrier delays on. And most of the sites have the long carrier delay implemented, but not all of them over there.
Yeah. It was a problem for me on greens to where I had to be very mindful of it on every transmission. So I will again.
Yeah, it's because the paths are actually fairly long hop-wise, because not everything is. We're back through on the towers path, which has improved things considerably, but it's something to be mindful of. And the new guys in Arizona trying to use this, they're going to have to understand that if they pick the microphone up and start talking as the microphone is getting up to their face to make a really short transmission to get it in quick, nobody's going to hear them at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Pat and I'll remember, and everybody else who's new will get to know you the way we know you now. You'll bark at them and then they'll learn, Robin.
Well, yes and no. I may never hear them trying.
Yeah, I'll bark at them then.
Okay, you do that.
On Cactus, by the way. Pat and I have been working, inviting people to come over. And so it's relentless. Pat has been, every time we talk to guys, come on over, join us, try it out. We'll keep doing that. So all of that's going on too.
Well,
right.
I hope so.
Robin, we need to know who you've assigned as the official channel cop.
Well, that's hardly necessary.
We just need to hear your voice every now and then.
Well, I'll be having opinions from Potosi, so that will do something. But
Dougie said he would be on to help press buttons over here too. He told Pat he would keep things normal for us.
Okay, that is one of the issues. Is those it depends on the radios. They'll time out, take themselves off link over there. Greens is one that will. You may be able to persuade Doug to temporarily change that configuration so that it stays on link for the contest. Yeah. But that's a significant factor over there, is that not very many of those radios, the Tucson radios, do stay on link, but the Central Arizona radios do not.
Yeah, that's CPR.
All right, there's a new map up, so everybody heads up. New map.
Yeah, this is WA6 CGR's location in Wilmington.
Look at that, DX City
location.
Yeah, and I was explaining to him, we've got nice strong signal at Fraser and Burnt, and he lights up San Savine, which sees a high desert. He lights up Blue Ridge, Secret Site 51. So, and nice shot all the way down to San Diego. So from his location, we see why he gets out as good as he does.
He's green in Temecula, so on direct path.
Yeah, show Secret Site 51 also. If anybody wants to know how to get there, I'll show them or tell them.
Yeah, we work Dave from the Central Valley too.
If it's secret, why are we telling everybody?
All right, there's Secret Site 51.
Talk about your old school microwave roving site.
Yeah,
need to.
That's a great site, considering how easy it is to get to. I was going to say about, so we never miss anything Pat says on Cactus, because he always first says, now. And that's just the amount of time.
And
okay.
If you only hear him say now once, it's because he started talking before the links picked up.
Right. And you haven't missed anything that you didn't already know. Okay, that concludes our meeting. Thank you to everyone for coming. Good luck in the contest, and we'll see you next month.
Boy, thanks for letting
Have
us
a good
look
night,
at
everyone.
the software.
Great meeting. Thank you very much.
A good meeting. Nice to see everybody.
Good to see you, Doug.
Yeah, 73-0 and at King Henry.
BB6 and away out.
K6JEY clear.